My name is Milhargey, and today I will be presenting my capstone project. At the beginning of the year, we were all required to choose a category that our project would fall under. I chose the entrepreneurship and innovation category, but decided to combine it with the create and express category as well. The reason I chose these categories is not only because I have interest in both, but because I think business in general needs creativity to keep it engaging. For this reason, the product of my capstone was a self-made small business called Made with Love. The creation of my product started back in December. In December, the process started when I bought the materials to start making my ouch pouches and pot holders. Once the materials were purchased, I kept track of the spending and added it to my budgeting process. The materials were then prepped by cutting fabrics into the right shapes and sizes. In January, I had 2 meetings with my mentor, which helped me with the sewing instructions and decisions on the inside objects for the ouch pouches. Once February came along, it was time to start creating and sewing. By the end of February, I had finished most of the sewing and continued to work on the final details. My plan for March was to start selling the pot holders I had made and eventually the ouch pouches. With the interruption of the virus, I had to reroute my project, which is a struggle I will talk about later on. I pursued this whole process mainly because it was very organized, even with the bumps in the road. Inside this business, I created 2 products, pot holders and ouch pouches. The pot holders were an easy product to make, which I created from the basis of scrap materials and heat-resistant filling. They were an easy sell to my family members and my friends' grandparents, especially around Valentine's Day. The selling of my pot holders was very successful, as they were very easy to make and consisted of a very low cost for materials. The second product I made was an ouch pouch. An ouch pouch is a small zippered pouch that contains many first aid supplies, like chapsticks, band-aids, mini Advils, and sanitizing hand wipes. In my small business, I was able to create a line of ouch pouches and sell them as well to my neighborhood and family. The creation of my ouch pouches were not as successful as I hoped they would be. It took a very long time to make the ouch pouches, and selling them to my friends and community was harder than expected. In December, I bought the materials and started prepping for the sewing process. I spent most of January and February sewing them and putting them together, and depended on March for my selling period. My business, Made with Love, was very fun to create and considering it was my first small business, it was successful. I really enjoyed making products for my family and community, and I look forward to continuing and growing my small business in the future. Throughout the year, we have also been taught core competencies and the effects that they have on our learning, growth, and future selves. For my small business, the main core competency that was tested in this capstone project was personal. The personal core competency tested the personal skills I had to start and end this project. This core competency allowed me to create budgets, set aside time for working, use my personal style, and even help me with selling. My business is also personal, as my selling audience was mainly towards my family and friends, who are a great support system. Thanks to the personal core competency, the business I created was able to have my individual flair and sold based off of my own design, decisions, and opinions with the help of others along the way. Along with the creation of our final product, we needed to participate in work experience and mentorship. The work experience helped us engage in our interests and find out the connections we have to that interest in our everyday lives. As well, the mentorship created the perfect learning experience on becoming a young professional. For the 30 hours of my work experience, I participated in the P&E Youth Council. The P&E, which is the Pacific National Exhibition, has a youth council full of 16 high school students in grades 11 and 12. The special 16 were all chosen based off an online application and group interview in which 70 youth attended. As a group of 16, we participate in monthly meetings at the P&E grounds with business professionals and mentors. Each meeting consists of different topics, strategies, advertisements, social media impact, and even financials of the business. Overall, this youth council is a great way for youth to participate in a business and contribute to their input, opinions, and creativity. I have been able to learn so much about business and people and strategies, which has really impacted the way I look at my future career in business. My work experience at the P&E has been a huge help for the creation of my project. The monthly meetings I attended have taught me very useful skills that were essential for the success of my project. First of all, one of the meetings consisted of interviewing and mentorship. I was able to sit down and listen in on how a proper interview should happen, how to introduce yourself, how to make conversation, and most importantly, that good old firm handshake. This meeting had a major impact on the mentorship with Ms. Dakotas and our work together. Secondly, another one of the meetings discussed budgeting and financials. This strongly affected my project as I had to really concentrate on the money I was putting into my small business and estimate just how much I was getting out of it. With the help of my work experience, the financial plan of my project went very smoothly. Lastly, one of the meetings I attended with my work experience went over marketing and finding the proper audience, or demographic. Although my product was not a show or a concert, I still needed to sell to the appropriate people in my surroundings and which of them would actually buy my products. For this reason, I ended up selling the majority of my products to friends and family. This meeting had helped me realize that you need to use what you've got and the importance of connections in your daily life. Overall, my work experience was very worthwhile, impactful, and even fun. I had a great time with my people in my youth council, and am very thankful for the opportunity that the P&E Youth Council has given me. Exercising core competencies also took place throughout my work experience. The core competency that was tested throughout this work experience was creative thinking. The main way this creative thinking was carried out was through the decisions the Youth Council were given to make. For example, the 16 of us were confronted about ways to attract more youth to the P&E. As a group, we decided that it would be super fun to have a youth night at P&E just after school starts as a final hooray. The plans are still in action for the night to happen, but keep your eyes open for a youth night at the P&E. Confronting decisions like this, dissecting them, and making a final choice took lots of creativity on our parts. It was very beneficial for me to confront such complex decisions with curiosity, creativity, and imagination. For my capstone, I chose to have Ms. Dakotas as my mentor. I've worked with Ms. Dakotas since I was in grade 10 and have always enjoyed her class. She has taught me many useful skills and techniques in sewing, and in this project, she was able to aid me in creating my product. I am very thankful for all of her help and the advice she gave me. Ms. Dakotas and I discussed many components of my capstone. We started off by discussing the product I was going to make and the materials that I needed to get. We further elaborated on the techniques I needed to use and strategies I kept in mind. Most of the techniques aided me in the physical construction and sewing of my products, such as how to sew a zipper and using my zipper foot. The core competency that influenced the mentor component of my capstone was verbal communication. In order to meet with my mentor and take in their advice, verbal communication largely impacted the success of having a mentor. Ms. Dakotas and I were able to have thorough and helpful conversations that helped move my project all the way from the start to the beginning. One of the components of this project was to learn how to connect our interests to our everyday lives, and more specifically, how to connect our mentorship and work experience. My capstone, work experience, and mentorship all connect together under the umbrella of business and creativity. The main focus of my work experience was to help me build an understanding of how a business runs and the struggles in creating one. My work experience was very helpful as it helped me establish a base for my capstone project to build on and off of. The capstone then created the structure for my product. It gave me a small business goal of my own personal products. My capstone also provided me with timelines, rubrics, ideas, and motivation for all aspects of my capstone. My mentorship with Ms. Dakotas then helped me with filling up the structure and based my work experience and capstone put together. I used my business ideas for my work experience to create a product with Ms. Dakotas and used my capstone to guide my creativity. Overall, my work experience, mentorship, and capstone worked as one big team till my product and project was completed. Without one of them, my entire capstone may have been very different. Another similarity was the core competencies that were exercised. The core competency that was exercised the most through the creation and completion of my capstone was my thinking skills. During my mentorship, critical thinking skills was essential as I needed to learn many new skills and directions of sewing. Similarly, my work experience extremely benefited my creative thinking skills when my youth council was faced with new ideas and problem solving. Overall, I am very thankful for the opportunity both the mentorship and work experience gave me. My inquiry question at the beginning of the year was what products and qualities will target young adults in order to make sales. This inquiry helped guide my motive to introduce products that would influence my age group and youth. This was a large component of my inquiry question that did end up changing. Instead of focusing on a young youth demographic, I instead focused on an older demographic of parents, grandparents, neighbors, and my community. This changed mostly because the products I made ended up catering to the likes of older people. The pot holders were a big hit with moms, whereas the ouch pouches were more versatile among all demographics. For this reason, my inquiry question should be changed to, what products and qualities will target all demographics in order to make a profit? How will any element of this project help me as a young professional and help my community? This project helps me as a young professional, as professionalism is a large part of starting a business. Through my work experience and mentorship, I'd like to think that I have accumulated the business skills someone at my age should try to learn. This project has definitely guided my journey to becoming an even brighter young professional. As well as helping me become a young professional, this project has helped me connect with my community through my work experience. Not only did my work experience teach me the basics of professionalism, but also taught me the importance of catering to your community. I learned how positive business relationships help with connecting to your community, and also how being environmentally friendly is an admirable trait for a business in general. What is one struggle from creating my capstone? The biggest struggle I faced in this capstone project was the creation of my product. Making my ouch pouches took a lot longer than I had anticipated and required lots of attention and hard work. Although buying materials is easy, the sewing of just one ouch pouch took over an hour to make. Often when sewing, little mistakes are made, which made this process take even longer. What is one proud moment from creating your capstone? The most proud moment of my capstone is the customer satisfaction. The community I had sold to were not only proud of my accomplishments, but enjoyed using the pot holders or ouch pouches in their everyday lives. It's also great to have a community around you that is both your customers and support system. Because most of my customers are very close to me, it's also nice to hear that the item they purchased is a reminder of me. And lastly, how did COVID-19 affect my project? One of the biggest struggles I have faced in the completion of my capstone was the profit I planned on explaining. At the beginning of my project, I planned to keep track of all my expenses and present my profits and gross profits during my presentation, but this did not go as planned. After creating my products, I planned to sell my products in March, but with the virus starting up, I decided to switch to a nonprofit. My nonprofit business is still a small business nonetheless. I'm happy that I know I have a stable business with products that I can potentially grow and make profits off of in the future. Creating this nonprofit business has really helped me dip my toes into the business pool. That has brought me to the end of my capstone project for 2020. Thank you for listening.